James Harper was a very rich man. He lived in a big house with many rooms, but he lived alone. Every morning before the sun came up, he went for a walk in the park near his home in New York. The park was quiet that early. Only the birds sang, and the wind moved through the trees. That morning, James walked slowly, thinking about nothing in particular. His hands were in his pockets, and he didn't expect anything strange. But as he walked past a wooden bench under a big tree, something caught his eye. At first, he thought it was just a pile of old blankets. He took a few more steps, then stopped. He turned back and looked again. The blanket stirred, a faint whimper rising. James stepped closer, heart quickening. Under the dim street lamp, he saw a young woman, maybe 19, curled on her side, unmoving. Her clothes, torn jeans, a faded hoodie, clung to her thin frame. Her face, pale with a faint flush, looked exhausted, eyes closed. Beside her, 3 tiny babies lay in threadbare cloths, crying softly, their small hands trembling in the cold. Their faces, damp with tears, were pinched with hunger. James froze, breath shallow. Call 911? Wait for help? But one baby coughed, a weak, rattling sound. Instinct took over. He knelt, gently gathering the babies, Mia, Noah, Ava, he'd later learn, into his arms, their frail bodies chilling his chest. The girl, Lily, was lighter than she should be, her head lolling as he lifted her. Ignoring stares from early joggers, James hurried to his SUV, parked nearby. He secured the babies in the back, Lily beside them, and sped toward his Upper East Side mansion, hands unsteady on the wheel. This wasn't chance, he thought. Something deeper stirred, a pull he couldn't name. The iron gates parted, revealing his home, sleek, modern, silent. Margaret Maggie Coleman, his housekeeper of 20 years, was sweeping the foyer. Her graying braids swung as she glanced out, eyes widening. "Mr. Harper, babies?" she gasped, rushing to the door. "No time," James said, voice tight, carrying Lily inside. "Warm blankets, water, call Dr. Ellis." Maggie, ever steady, sprang into action, her floral apron swaying. They laid Lily on a leather couch, the babies on a rug by the gas fireplace. Maggie draped them in cashmere throws, fetching milk bottles from the kitchen. James cradled Noah, feeding him clumsily, the baby's eager gulps piercing the quiet. "They're starving," Maggie said, checking Lily's forehead. "She's burning up, too thin." Dr. Ellis, a wiry man in his 60s, arrived within the hour, his silver hair mussed from haste. After examining them, he sighed. "Dehydrated, malnourished, but stable. The girl needs rest, fluids. The babies need nutrition, warmth." James nodded, watching Lily's still form. "Prepare a room," he told Maggie, "for her. Another for the babies." Maggie hesitated, her dark eyes searching. "They staying, sir?" "I don't know," James said, softer, "but they're safe now." The sun climbed, casting light through tall windows. Lily stirred, eyes fluttering open. Hazel, wide with panic. "Mia! Noah! Ava!" she gasped, bolting upright, swaying as her head spun. She saw the crib Maggie had set up, the babies sleeping in clean onesies, and stumbled to them, tears streaming. She clutched Mia, Then Noah, Ava, her thin arms trembling. James stood in the doorway, 5'11", lean at 45, his fair skin flushed from the morning's rush. His gray sweater and slacks were rumpled, brown hair slightly askew. "You're safe," he said, voice calm but eyes concerned. Lily backed away, clutching Ava, her light brown skin glistening with sweat. At 5'4", she looked younger than 19, her hoodie torn, jeans patched. Her face, sharp with fear, softened as she checked the babies. "Who are you? Where am I?" she whispered. "James Harper," he said. "I found you in Central Park. You were out cold. The babies were crying. I brought you here." "Please," Lily said, voice cracking. "Don't take them. They're my siblings. I didn't steal them." "No one's taking anyone," James said, stepping closer. "I just wanted to help." Lily sank to her knees, still holding Ava, tears falling. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "I tried to keep them safe." James knelt, keeping distance. "You did. They're here. You're here." She wiped her face, shaking. "I'm Lily Turner. That's Mia, Noah, Ava. They're all I have." James nodded, his throat tight. "Rest, Lily. We'll figure this out." Maggie entered, her sturdy 5'6" frame moving with purpose at 62, her deep brown skin glowing under the chandelier. Her floral blouse was neat, but her eyes held worry. "Soup's ready," she said, setting a tray beside Lily. "Eat, child. Your skin and bones." Lily hesitated, then sipped the broth, its warmth easing her trembling. Maggie sat across, watching. "You're brave, looking after 3 babies," she said. "How'd you end up in the park?" Lily's voice was low, halting. "Our mom, Sarah Mitchell, died giving birth to them. 9 months ago. My stepdad bailed. I tried working, cleaning, odd jobs, but it wasn't enough. We got evicted. Shelters were rough. I kept them fed, warm as I could. Yesterday, I just couldn't walk anymore." James listened, his face taut. Sarah Mitchell. The name struck a chord, faint but sharp. Years ago, in his 20s, he'd loved a Sarah. Bright, fierce, but they'd parted over a fight he barely recalled. Could it be her? He pushed the thought down, focusing on Lily's trembling hands. Maggie's eyes softened, but her voice stayed firm. "You carried them this far. That's something." Lily clutched a folded paper from her pocket. A letter, creased and worn. "Mom wrote this," she said, voice breaking, "before she died. Said if I ever needed help, find James Harper." James's breath caught. His eyes locked on the letter, heart pounding. "Can I see it?" Lily hesitated, then handed it over, her gaze wary. James unfolded it, Sarah's handwriting jagged but clear. "Lily, if you're alone, find James Harper. He's a good man, even if he doesn't know it. Tell him I'm sorry." The room spun. Sarah had known him, trusted him, but never told him about Lily, the babies. Why? "What else did she say about me?" he asked, voice low. Lily's eyes hardened. "That you left her, that you didn't want us." The words cut deep, true and false at once. James had walked away, thinking Sarah wanted freedom, not family. A misunderstanding, sealed by years. "I didn't know," he said, handing the letter back. "I swear." Lily looked away, clutching Mia. "I just want them safe, not split up." "They won't be," James said, firmer than he felt. You're staying here until we sort this out. Maggie stood, arms crossed. You sure, Mr. Harper? This ain't a small thing? I'm sure, he said, meeting her gaze. But doubt gnawed. He'd lost Emma, his daughter, to a crash at 6, shutting out the world since. Could he open it now? Lily rocked Ava, her face torn, grateful but scared. Why help us? She asked. You don't know me. James paused, Sarah's letter burning in his mind. Because someone asked me to, he said, and I owe her. Maggie watched, her silence heavy. She'd seen James retreat after Emma, knew his walls. I'll set up the rooms, she said, but her tone held a warning. Don't let them down. As Maggie left, James sat, watching Lily soothe Noah. The baby's soft breaths filled the quiet, but questions loomed. Sarah's letter hinted at a past he'd buried, a truth Lily might not forgive. He wasn't a father, not anymore. Yet here was Lily, fierce and broken, and 3 babies who needed him. The mansion, once his refuge, felt too big, too empty for this. Could he be what they needed? The answer lay in the letter, in Lily's guarded eyes, and in a promise he wasn't sure he could keep. James Harper woke to the soft cries of babies echoing through his Manhattan mansion. Sunlight filtered through tall windows, warming the hardwood floors. Yesterday's chaos, finding Lily Turner and her siblings Mia, Noah, and Ava in Central Park, still gripped him. Lily, 19, lay in a guest room, recovering from exhaustion, while the babies slept in a makeshift nursery. Sarah Mitchell's letter, naming him, burned in his mind. Why had she hidden Lily, these children, from him? At 45, James had built millions, but lost his daughter, Emma, years ago. Could he open his heart again? He pulled on a sweater, checking the nursery. Mia stirred, her tiny hands waving. James adjusted her blanket, his touch awkward but gentle. Downstairs, Maggie Coleman, his housekeeper, brewed coffee, her floral apron crisp despite the early hour. At 62, her sturdy frame and deep brown skin carried a quiet strength, but her eyes held worry. They're still here, she said, nodding toward the guest wing. James sipped his coffee, the mug warm. Lily's awake? Not yet, Maggie said, stirring oatmeal. Those babies need feeding. You sure about this, Mr. Harper? He met her gaze, her question echoing his doubt. They needed help. I couldn't walk away. Maggie's lips pursed. Helping's one thing. Keeping them's other. You know what it's like to lose a child. Her words stung, recalling Emma's death. Maggie had lost her son too, a carjacking a decade ago. I know, James said, voice low, but I'm not running. Lily appeared, her 5'4" frame dwarfed by the foyer's grandeur. Her light brown skin was less pale, but her hazel eyes were guarded, her torn hoodie and jeans unchanged. She clutched Sarah's letter, blonde curls loose. Morning, she said, voice cautious, eyeing the oatmeal. Eat, Maggie urged, sliding a bowl over. You're no good to those babies weak. Lily sat, spoon hesitant. They okay? She asked, glancing toward the nursery. Fed and sleeping, James said, sitting across. We need to get your things today. Lily's grip tightened on the letter. From Brooklyn? It's not much. James nodded. Whatever you need. An hour later, they drove across the Brooklyn Bridge, Lily silent beside him, Ava's blanket in her lap. The babies stayed with Maggie, who'd insisted on watching them. Lily's gaze flicked to the skyline, her fingers tracing the letter's creases. Mom said you were important, she said, barely audible. Why'd you leave her? James's hands tensed on the wheel. I thought she didn't want me. We fought years ago. I was young, stupid. I didn't know about you. Lily's eyes narrowed. She said you'd say that. The words cut, but he stayed calm. What else did she say? She wrote it, Lily said, tapping the letter. Said you'd help, but I shouldn't trust too easy. They pulled up to a run-down Brooklyn tenement, graffiti scarring its walls. Lily led him to a basement room, damp, cramped, with a mattress and a duffel bag. She packed quickly, baby clothes, a stuffed bear, a photo of Sarah, smiling, light brown skin like Lily's, hazel eyes bright. Lily paused, pulling out a journal, its pages worn. Moms, she said, voice soft. She wrote about you. James's chest tightened. Can you read it? Lily hesitated, then opened it. James thought I didn't love him. I let him believe it, to keep him free. My mistake. Her voice shook. She didn't want me to hate you. James swallowed, Sarah's words rewriting his past. I didn't know, he said. I'd have come back. Lily's gaze hardened. Would you? Or would you leave again? Before he could answer, a knock rattled the door. A woman, mid-40s, stood there. 5'6", sturdy, medium brown skin, dark hair in a bun. Her green coat was faded, her face lined with grief. Lily, she said, voice sharp. You're alive. Aunt Rebecca, Lily said, rushing to hug her. I'm okay. Rebecca Mitchell, Sarah's sister, turned to James, eyes blazing. You're Harper. He nodded, wary. James? You left Sarah, Rebecca said, stepping closer. Now you show up playing hero. What's your game? James stood firm, 5'11". His gray sweater neat but face tense. No game. I found Lily in the park, unconscious. I brought her home. Rebecca's jaw tightened. Sarah told me about you. Said you'd charm, then run. Lily's my family. Those babies, too. Lily clutched the journal, eyes darting between them. Aunt Rebecca, he's helping. Helping? Rebecca scoffed. Or buying your trust. Sarah wrote to you, Harper, but she didn't trust you either. James's stomach twisted. I didn't know about Lily or the babies. Sarah never told me. Because you left, Rebecca snapped. She raised Lily alone. Died giving birth to those three. Where were you? The accusation landed hard, true in ways James couldn't deny. I can't change that, he said, voice low. But I'm here now. Rebecca studied him, skeptical. Prove it. Lily's not your charity case. Those babies aren't toys. You want a role? Earn it. How? James asked, frustration rising. Show you won't bolt, Rebecca said. Sarah's gone. I'm their guardian if you fail. Don't test me. Lily's face fell, her thin frame tensing. I'm not leaving them, she said, voice fierce. Not with anyone. Rebecca softened, touching Lily's shoulder. I know, kid, but you can't do this alone. James nodded, meeting Rebecca's gaze. I won't fail them. Rebecca handed him a card. Call when Lily's ready. She needs family, not just a roof. As Rebecca left, Lily packed the last of her things, journal tight in her grip. James carried the duffel, his mind churning. Sarah's letter, Rebecca's words. They painted a past he hadn't understood. Had he misread Sarah all those years ago? Back at the mansion, Maggie greeted them, Ava in her arms. Babies are fine, she said, but her eyes narrowed at James. You talked to that aunt? Yeah, James said. James said, setting the duffel down. She's protective. Good, Maggie said, rocking Ava. Lily needs that. You sure you're ready for this? James hesitated, Maggie's question echoing Rebecca's. I have to be, he said, but doubt lingered. Maggie's son, lost to violence, had left her cautious. She wouldn't let James hurt Lily. Lily sat by the crib, reading Sarah's journal. Lily's strong, like James once was, she read, voice low. I hope he finds her. She looked at James, eyes guarded. Why'd Mom think you'd care? James sat across, his face heavy. We were close once. I thought she wanted out. She thought I did. We were wrong. Lily's fingers traced the journal. I don't want to lose them. They're all I have. You won't, James said, voice firm. But you tell me what you need, Lily. This is your call. She nodded, but her gaze stayed wary. I need time to know you won't leave. James exhaled, the weight of her words settling. Fair enough. Maggie watched, her silence sharp. I'll check the babies, she said, leaving them. Her steps echoed, a reminder of her own loss. Her doubt in James's resolve. As evening fell, James stood by the study window, city lights blurring below. Lily's fear, Rebecca's challenge, Maggie's skepticism. They pressed against him, heavier than any deal he'd closed. Sarah's journal held truths he wasn't ready for, but Lily's hazel eyes demanded he try. The baby's soft breaths drifted from the nursery, a fragile trust he couldn't break. For now, Lily was here, and that was enough to keep him fighting for a promise he was only beginning to grasp. James Harper stood in the nursery of his Manhattan mansion, a far cry from its sterile past. Cribs lined one wall, a star mobile spun above, and stuffed animals crowded a shelf. Lily Turner, now settled for 6 months, arranged blankets for Mia, Noah, and Ava, her siblings. Her blonde curls bounced, Sarah Mitchell's journal tucked under her arm. James, 45, watched, his lean frame relaxed in a navy sweater, fair skin catching the morning light. Lily's trust had grown, but her hazel eyes still held caution, fearing James might falter. Need anything for them? He asked, adjusting Noah's crib. Lily, 19544, her light brown skin glowing, nodded. Bottles and maybe diapers? James smiled. Let's go shopping. Their routine had solidified, breakfasts, park walks, bedtime stories. Yet Lily's fear lingered, tied to Sarah's death and James's past absence. Rebecca Mitchell, Sarah's sister, called weekly, her skepticism easing. Maggie Coleman, the housekeeper, watched closely, her own loss sharpening her vigilance. James felt their eyes, his doubt persistent. Could he be enough? At a Brooklyn baby store, Lily pushed a cart, her patched jeans swapped for a new jacket, courtesy of James. She picked up diapers, hesitating at a plush giraffe. For Ava? James asked. Lily bit her lip. It's pricey. My treat, he said, adding it to the cart. Her shy smile warmed him. Back home, they set up the nursery, Lily reading Sarah's journal by Ava's crib. Lily's got James's heart, she read, voice soft. We fought over my parents. They hated him. I pushed him away. She looked at James sitting nearby. Mom didn't tell you about me because of them. James's throat tightened, the journal rewriting his guilt. I should have fought harder, he said. I thought she didn't want me. Lily's fingers traced the pages. She wanted you to find me. He nodded, eyes stinging. I'm glad I did. Lily's gaze softened, but doubt lingered. You won't. Send us away? Never, James said, voice firm. You're home. Maggie entered, her 62-year-old frame sturdy in a floral blouse, deep brown skin radiant. Babies need feeding, she said, handing James a bottle. Her eyes, warm but sharp, met his. You're doing all right, Mr. Harper. Don't stop. James fed Mia, her tiny hands grabbing his finger. Maggie's approval, rare, after her son's loss, steadied him. Thanks, Maggie, he said. The next day, Rebecca arrived, her 5'6" frame wrapped in a green coat, medium brown skin flushed from the cold. At 45, her dark hair was neat, but her face held grief. Lily hugged her, Ava in her arms. Aunt Rebecca, she beamed. Rebecca nodded at James, less hostile now. Place looks lively, she said, eyeing the toys. They sat in the living room, Lily showing Rebecca the giraffe. James got it, she said, voice proud. Rebecca's eyes flicked to James, softening. Sarah'd like that, but Lily needs more than toys. I'm cutting work, James said. More time for them. Rebecca raised an eyebrow. Big shift for a millionaire? For them, James corrected. Lily listened, her face torn, hopeful, wary. Later, they walked to Central Park, spring breeze stirring the trees. Lily pushed Noah's stroller, Rebecca beside her. James trailed, hands in pockets. I was wrong about Sarah, Rebecca said, voice low. She pushed you out to please our folks. You both paid for it. James nodded, jaw tight. I can't fix that, but I'm here now. Rebecca's gaze softened. Keep it up, and I won't fight you. Relief hit, tempered by her warning. I will, he said. Lily paused by a fountain, pulling out the journal. Mia's smile is Sarah's, she read, voice breaking. I hope James sees it. She looked at James, eyes wet. You do, right? Every day, he said, voice thick. Lily leaned into him, a small step toward trust. Weeks later, James met Maggie in the kitchen, Ava napping nearby. Lily's settling, Maggie said, pouring tea. But she misses Brooklyn, that life. I know, James said. I'm not replacing it, just building something new. Maggie's eyes warmed. You're learning, don't let her down. He nodded, watching Lily play with Mia outside. I won't. The nursery was now theirs. Stars on the walls, Sarah's photo by the cribs. Lily kept the journal close, her smiles easier. James worked less, his wealth second to park trips and feedings. Challenges remained. Lily's quiet moments, missing Brooklyn, his fear of failing. One night, they sat by the cribs, journal open. Lily's my strength, she read. James can be hers. She met his eyes. Can you? James took her hand. I am. For you, Mia, Noah, Ava. Lily hugged him, her grip tight. The mansion wasn't Brooklyn, not Sarah's, but it was home. Fragile, growing. James held her, knowing some days would test them, but this bond he'd keep. Dear listener, family blooms through effort, not perfection. Lily's courage, James's promise, They remind us, love men's broken paths. If their story touched you, please like this video to spread their hope, showing even the lost can find home.